Coming up on Mountain News this morning, an Eastern Kentucky woman partners with a local nonprofit to encourage survivors of sexual assault to share their stories. And people from across the state gather for an outdoor event to bring awareness to Parkinson's disease and offer support to those impacted by it.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Well, good morning, y'all. It's 6 o'clock here. Long time no see. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at that forecast. And Brandon, I think you know the old saying, April showers brings Dakota flowers, right? Is that the saying right?
No.
So here I am.
No, it's not.
I came right, all those showers just brought me right back. So
what am I going to do with you?
it's already starting, and you have a whole month of this.
I know.
So you just have to get prepared.
At least it's not the whole month. It's just a few days a week, the whole month.
I can make it the whole month. One text message.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Anyway, but today, Dakota, the saying is April showers bring May showers because they're going to be hanging over through the new month there. It's going to be cold, too. Let's take a look. Buffalo Mountain this morning, a little bit on the cool side, but look at the tree right there. The wind is already blowing. Breezy conditions even early in the morning, so that's creating wind chills. And again, it's just going to be a chilly day overall. Temperatures 30s, 40s, and 50s. Only 130 out there. Wise County, Virginia, well, actually the Lonesome Pond Airport over at Wise, and then 50 at Lake Cumberland out there, 50 in Monticello, 50 in Somerset on those sensors out that way. A lot of mid to upper 40s this morning. Region-wide, 54 in Myrtle Beach, 50 in Washington, D.C., 51 in New York, 50 in St. Louis, 50 in Louisville, 51 in Memphis, 52 in Atlanta. Everybody else is in the 40s and even some 30s out there this morning. It's the first day of May. Why is it doing this? It's not supposed to do this. But again, what's today's forecast? We're going to be seeing 400. What is dreary and breezy, we will not get out of the mid-50s. When you factor in those wind chills, it could feel like the 40s at times. Dakota?
Brandon, thank you. Even though April is over, that means Sexual Assault Awareness Month is as well. One organization in Perry County is looking to continue spreading awareness. Our Chandler Wilcox reports on how the Rising Center partnered with one Perry County to show a documentary including her survivor story.
I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse.
Almost 20 years have passed since Heather Bush was first sexually assaulted. After years of therapy and court hearings, she became a clinical social worker and participated in a KET documentary titled Believe Me, focusing on the stories of sexual assault survivors.
I've had a lot of help, and then I worked with survivors for a while myself, and that showed me that, you know, it doesn't matter how hard I've had it, there's other people going through the same thing.
Along with the Rising Center in Hazard, Bush hosted a viewing for the documentary detailing her story.
I've known Heather for a long time now, and sometimes that makes it harder to hear somebody's story when you know them personally.
Along with the documentary showing, Bush shared a poem she wrote expressing her survivor story.
It's called Silence. The little girl that was inside of me for many years, that she was 11, because that's when it started. She was always screaming out for help and nobody would help her. And so I finally set her free, and that's what the poem is all about.
By publicizing her story, Bush is hoping others will feel the courage to speak out too.
That was the biggest reason why I did the documentary, is so that anyone who needs help can see that this happens here as well.
Rising Center staff hope Bush's story, alongside many more, will continue to increase awareness. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The Believe Me documentary will be shown on KET throughout this month. People from across the state gathered in Laurel County during the weekend to participate in a 5K raising awareness for Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's in Motion, a nonprofit based in London, hosted its first ever 5K. The event included special guests like former WKYT anchor Barbara Bailey. She made an appearance along with basketball star Reed Shepherd. Bailey says being out in the community is still one of her favorite things to do.
You know, I've been retired for about 2 years now, and for my 41 years when I was working at WKYT, I loved getting out and meeting people across Kentucky, and the opportunity to come down here and be with everybody is so wonderful.
Parkinson's in Motion will be hosting another 5K on April 27th of next year. Kentucky is ranked 8th in the country for diabetes prevalence. 14% of all Kentuckians have diabetes and 34% are pre-diabetic. That's why the Fayette County Diabetes Coalition held a free diabetes expo during the weekend. People had a chance to receive free vaccines and screenings. Organizers invited health experts to answer questions about preventing or managing diabetes.
The demand is so high for the need of education, and we're seeing that it's not just subjected to a race, to a socioeconomic level. It's impacting young, old, middle, youth, teens.
Diabetes is the third leading cause of death by disease for African Americans in Kentucky. Uncontrolled diabetes can be associated with complications such as heart disease, stroke, blindness, kidney failure, and lower limb amputation. The Lexington VA is working to increase enrollment in VHA healthcare. Well, this comes as many veterans are newly eligible following the passage of the PACT Act. It expands VA benefits for veterans exposed to burn pits and other toxic substances. Well, this past weekend, a PACT event was hosted to educate veterans on healthcare enrollment and benefits and to provide toxic exposure screenings.
During their time in the military, if they think that they've been exposed to any harmful toxics, we want them to come in and get screened for that. We want them to get the health care associated with that. We want to be able to treat them.
Those with the Lexington VA say they are planning several more of these events this year. Well, the Kentucky Derby is less than 1 week away. In the weeks leading up to the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, we've seen a few unfortunate incidents. Julia Sandor talked with one vet about the importance of safety in the equine industry.
Just past the gates to Park Equine Hospital, horses are roaming the paddocks and recovering in their stalls. Whether they're retired horses, show horses, or race horses,
the brown ones popped hard.
They all get the same high-quality treatment.
So I see a lot of minor injuries frequently, and then occasionally you have, the more severe catastrophic injuries.
Dr. Annie Oakes grew up in Saratoga Springs, a horse racing community that led her to becoming an equine veterinarian. She says being born and raised in the industry makes practicing in Lexington a full circle experience.
So being here is just kind of the epitome of, equine athletes.
Dr. Oakes says they're fortunate enough to have equipment that picks up on subtle issues, like their new standing equine MRI.
We don't have to anesthetize the horse to acquire the scans of the MRIs. They're able to walk in there, they get some sedation, they get their scan, and they walk back out.
It's a very minimally invasive process that's available right in the heart of the bluegrass.
The total scan takes about 2 hours if we're doing 2 front feet, sometimes a little more. I do like to give them a break if they're being really good.
The Run for the Roses is so close, you can taste it. But at the end of the finish line, what it all comes down to is the horse's well-being.
One of my favorite parts of the job is being the advocate for the horse, and in the end, that is my job.
That was Julia Sandor reporting. Keeneland's spring meet statistics show it's had 11 equine safety responses, and there were a total of 3 horse deaths. The goal of this high-tech equipment is to safely and quickly assess these injuries.
.609 here on this Monday morning, May the 1st, and again, it's a situation where we're not really seeing a whole lot of difference from yesterday. It's still chilly out there this morning, still fairly dry, a few little showers to the north, but again, scattered is the name of the game today. Corbin looking pretty good. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s this morning, with the exception of Wise over in Southwest Virginia in the upper 30s. So again, kind of a comfortable morning out there until the wind blows, because you're seeing some decent gust out there and they're creating some wind chills. Day planner for today, dreary conditions, mainly cloudy skies, and then those scattered rain chances will pick back up as we head into the afternoon. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you so much. Coming up next, the manhunt continues for a Texas man who targeted his neighbors during a deadly rampage. That's coming up.